Hello everyone. I received a request to read from this book, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats by T.S. Elliot. So I thought I would read a few poems from this book. It's very fun and lighthearted, and was written by T.S. Elliot for his nieces and nephews. So the first poem we'll read is The Naming of Cats. The naming of cats is a difficult matter. It isn't just one of your holiday games. You may think at first that I'm mad as a hatter when I tell you a cat must have 3 different names. First of all, there's the name that the family uses daily, such as Peter, Augustus, Alonzo, or James, such as Victor or Jonathan, George, or Bilbany, all of them sensible, everyday names. There are fancier names if you think they sound sweeter, some for the gentlemen and some for the dames, such as Plato, Amytas, Electra, Demeter, but all of them sensible, everyday names. But I tell you, a cat needs a name that's particular, a name that's peculiar and more dignified. Else, how could he keep up his tail perpendicular, or spread out his whiskers, or cherish his pride? Of names of this kind, I can give you a quorum, such as Monkeystrap, Quaxo, or Caporicopat, such as Bombalurina, or else Jellylorum. Names that never belong to more than one cat. But above and beyond, there's still one name left over, and this is the name that you never will guess, the name that no human research can discover, but the cat himself knows and will never confess. When you notice a cat in profound meditation, the reason, I tell you, is always the same. His mind is engaged in a rapt contemplation of the thought of the thought of the thought of his name, his ineffable, effable, and ineffable, deep and inscrutable, singular name. And the next poem I thought I'd read is Old Deuteronomy. Old Deuteronomy's lived a long time. He's a cat who has lived many lives in succession. He was famous in proverb and famous in rhyme a long while before Queen Victoria's accession. Old Deuteronomy's buried 9 wives, and more I'm tempted to say 99. And his numerous progeny prosper and thrives, and the village is proud of him in his decline. At the sight of that placid and bland physiognomy, when he sits in the sun on the vicarage wall, the oldest inhabitant croaks, "Well, of all things, can it be? Really? No. Yes. Ha! Ho! Hi! Oh my eye! My sight might be failing, but yet I confess I believe it is old Deuteronomy. Old Deuteronomy sits in the street. He sits in the high street on market day. The bullocks may bellow and the sheep may bleat, but the dogs and the herdsmen will turn them away. The cars and the lorries run over a curb, and the villagers put up a notice, "Road closed," so that nothing untoward may chance to disturb Deuteronomy's rest when he feels so deposed, or when he's engaged in domestic economy, and the oldest inhabitant croaks, "Well, of all things, can it be? Really? No. Yes. Oh, hi. Oh, my eye. I'm deaf of an ear now, but yet I can guess that the cause of this trouble is old Deuteronomy. Old Deuteronomy lies on the floor of the fox and the French horn for his afternoon nap. And when the men say, "There's just time for one more," then the landlady from her back parlor will peep and say, "Now then, you go out by the back door, for old Deuteronomy mustn't be woken, or I'll have the police if there's an uproar." And out they all shuffle without a word spoken. The digestive repose of that feline's gastronomy must never be broken, whatever befall. And the oldest inhabitant croaks, "Well, of all things, can it be? Really? Yes, no. Oh, hi, oh my eye, my legs may be tottery, and I must go slow, and be careful of old Deuteronomy." I love the illustrations in this book. They're great. I think they're the same person who did the illustrations for the Mystery Series on PBS. And the next poem I'll read is Busterfer Jones, The Cat About Town. Busterfer Jones is not skin and bones. In fact, he's remarkably fat. He doesn't haunt pubs. He has 8 or 9 clubs, for he's the St. James's Street cat. He's the cat we all greet as he walks down the street in his coat of fastidious black. No commonplace mousers have such well-cut trousers or such an impeccable back. In the whole of St. James, it's the smartest of names is the name of this brumble of cats. And we're all of us proud to be nodded or bowed to by Busterfer Jones in white spats. His visits are occasional to the senior educational, and it is against the rules for any one cat to belong both to that and the joint superior schools. For a similar reason, when the game's in season, he's found not at Fox's but Blimp's, for he's frequently seen at the gay stage and screen, which is famous for winkles and shrimps. In the season of venison, he's given his benison to the pot hunter's succulent bones, and just before noon's not a moment too soon to drop in for a drink at the drones. When he's seen in a hurry, there is probably curry at the Siamese or at the Glutton. If he looks full of gloom, then he's lunched at the Tomb on cabbage, rice pudding, and mutton. So much in this way passes Busterfer's day. At one club or another he's found. It can cause no surprise that under our eyes he has grown unmistakably round. He's a 25-pounder or I'm a bounder, and he's put on weight every day. But he's so well preserved because he's observed all of his life a routine, so he'll say. And, to put it in rhyme, "I shall outlast my time," is the word of this stoutest of cats. It must and it shall be spring and pall-mall, while Busterfer Jones wears white spats. And the next one I'll read is Skimbleshanks, the Railway Cat. There's a whisper down the line at 11:39 when the night mail's ready to depart, saying, "Skimble, where is Skimble? Has he gone to hunt the thimble? We must find him or the train can't start." All the guards and all the porters and the station master's daughters, they are searching high and low, saying, "Skimble, where is Skimble? For unless he's very nimble, then the night mail just can't go." At 11:42, then the signal's nearly due, and the passengers are frantic to a man. Then Skimble will appear, and he'll saunter to the rear. He's been busy in the luggage van. And he gives one flash from his glass-green eye, and the signal goes, "All clear." And we're off at last for the northern part of the northern hemisphere. You may say that by and large it is Skimble who is in charge of the sleeping car express. From the driver to the guards to the bagman playing cards, he will supervise them all, more or less. Down the corridor he paces and examines all the faces of the travelers in the first and in the third. He establishes control by a regular patrol, and he'd know at once if anything occurred. He will watch you without winking, and he sees what you are thinking, and it's certain that he doesn't approve of hilarity or riot, so the folks are very quiet when Skimble is about and on the move. You can play no pranks with Skimbleshanks. He's the cat that cannot be ignored. So nothing goes wrong on the Northern Mail when Skimbleshanks is on board. Oh, it's very pleasant when you have found your little den with your name written up on the door. And the berth is very neat with its newly folded sheet, and there's not a speck of dust upon the floor. And there's every sort of light. You can make it dark or bright. And there's a button you can turn to make a breeze. And there's a funny little basin you're supposed to wash your face in, and a crank to shut the window if you sneeze. Then the guard looks in politely and will ask you very brightly, "Do you like your morning tea weak or strong?" But Skimble's right behind him and is ready to remind him, for Skimble won't let anything go wrong. And when you creep into your cozy berth and pull up the counterpane, you are bound to admit that it's very nice to know that you won't be bothered by mice. You can leave all that to the railway cat, the cat of the railway train. In the middle of the night he is always fresh and bright. Every now and then he'll have a cup of tea, with perhaps a drop of scotch while he's keeping on the watch, only stopping here and there to catch a flea. You were fast asleep at Crewe, so you never knew that he was walking up and down the station. You were sleeping all the while he was busy at Carlisle, where he greeted the station master with elation. But you saw him at Dumfries, when he summons the police, if there's anything they ought to know about. When you get to Gallow Gate, there you do not have to wait, for Skimbleshanks will help you to get out. And he gives you a wave of his long brown tail, which says, "I'll see you again." You'll meet without fail at the midnight mail, the cat of the railway train. So, those are some of my favorite poems from this book. I hope you enjoyed it. And please let me know what you think. And please give me any suggestions you might have for videos you'd like to see. And please subscribe to my channel. And thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.